Hello, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Yvette. I know I'm a little bit early, but I have a special guest with me this afternoon, who is actually from the UK. So, while we before we get to my guest this afternoon, I did want to wish everybody coming up a happy or Merry Christmas. And I have been just completely baking and everything today, just trying to get a bunch of things together we've got a party to go to on Tuesday. So just trying to get a little bit ahead of all of that. Got a lot of my Christmas gifts taken care of, just need to wrap them all. So pretty excited about that. Um, but anyway, just without further ado, I just wanted to say thank y'all for being here. And we will be having a guest next weekend, 6 p.m. Central Time. So please be sure to check that out. All right. So without further ado, please help me welcome Ben Reid. He is a British Army veteran. Hello, hello.
Hey, Carolee, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I've
Excellent.
I've, I've not been baking
You haven't
at
baked
all.
anything?
No,
Do you cook?
no, not really. No, I've been lying. Yeah, I'm avid cook. I spend a ton of time cooking. No, I don't do any. I don't do any. I cook the kids' breakfast is the most I've cooked today.
Cereal?
No, no, actually eggs. Eggs. I've got
Oh,
an egg. Yeah,
okay. Okay. The eggs are good protein.
yeah, agreed,
Yeah.
agreed.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not much of a baker, but my baking I mean, I don't do like cupcakes and cakes and things like that. I do like pretzels and you know, things of that nature. Or I'll mix up some weird cracker concoction that I have to pop in the oven for 20 minutes, So um
Yeah,
and I've got my son upstairs helping me because the pretzels have to get cut up and rolled and all that stuff. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a
Nice.
big shout out to my youngest. So okay, so let's go ahead and begin. My first question that I usually ask everybody is, in your instance, Ben, who were you as a child?
I was quite hyperactive. I enjoyed being outdoors. I was.
Nice.
I'm from a small working class town in the north of England. That's for all of the people in the US listening. My accent is not like Queen's English or King's English. It's like there's a certain tone accent in the north of England, and I've definitely got that. So I was a happy kid. I had a great upbringing. I had amazing brothers and sisters. I've still got amazing parents. It was a fun childhood, I'd say.
Wonderful, wonderful. And did you like school?
No, I was good. I was good in school.
Okay.
So I didn't put much effort in and did okay. But I wouldn't say I enjoyed being in school. I enjoyed
Eh,
sport.
yeah. And so sports, what do they offer there for sports while
There's
you're
no
in
American
school?
football, and there's no baseball, and there's no
Right.
basketball. So
Yeah.
we'll just draw a line in the sand there. There's none of that. Soccer is huge
Hmm.
in the UK. So my life was consumed from a very early age with soccer. I did a lot of cross country running, so I used to run a lot,
Nice.
um, and I played a lot of golf as well when I was younger.
Oh, my husband loves you already. He's a golfer. He loves to golf.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so interestingly enough, I do know soccer is huge in your country, and we actually, when our children were very small and they were starting soccer, um, we they were doing a soccer camp, and we had 2 different years. We had a group, 2 different sets of coaches come from the UK, and we hosted them at our house for a week.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, yeah, it was great. And yeah, I think one was from Ireland, and one ended up he was I think I can't remember if he played for Manchester or if he just really liked him. But I think he's now here in the States. I think he was coaching soccer or something here in the States now. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
Well, there's a lot. It's incredibly popular in the
It
UK.
is. Yeah, yeah, it really is. Did they call it soccer there?
No, no, no,
Football?
football.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just, I
The
understand my
American
audience.
lingo.
I understand my audience. But you've got a lot of soccer going on next year with the World Cup, so it's
We
going to be a fun
do.
time in the US.
Yes, yes. Do you know, are a lot of the British going to be flying here for that, or are they just going to watch it on TV?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Brits in the US for that, amongst
Nice.
lots of other countries and nationalities as well. Like,
Yes.
I think like it's I don't know if is it the most popular sport in the world? I don't know if it is, but I think just because it
Oh,
spreads across many countries, it,
yes.
it the US is it's gonna be awesome in the US. The World Cup will be great.
Yeah. Yeah. We're pretty excited. We had a lot going on this coming year.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So that obviously, having the stamina from running and soccer and all of that, that makes sense for you going in when you get into the military. But what was it that made you decide you wanted to join the military to begin with?
Yeah. So I'm from a four children, three other siblings. There's four of us in total, and my older brother and older sister had already joined the British Army. So uh, I was kind of destined, I think, to follow them into the military. None of us had gone to university. We'd all joined straight out of school.
Hmm.
So I joined like in the UK. We call it high school. It's kind of different, I think, in your world, but we have something called sixth form, which is like a 2 year gap between being in school and going to university. So I joined
Oh,
sixth form to study, oh man, government and politics, human biology, advanced mathematics, and one other might have been physical education. And I hated it. I did it
did
for
you
4 months.
really?
Yeah, I hated it. Yeah, I hated it. I did it because I felt like it was what I should do and go to university. Like none of us had been, and my sister's super intelligent. I'm sorry, my brother, but we just never did, and it just was. I wasn't destined to do it. I was destined to join the military. So
And so, as you have different branches of military, and so did you join the army specifically because you knew a little bit about it from your brother and sister, or was there another
I
reason?
joined the British Army because my brother and sister who had been in the British Army. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
There
what
was
did,
no rhyme or reason. That is the reason why I decided to go.
right? And
And there
that's
was
fair.
an army careers office in our town. So I think, and I'd walked past it quite a few times. So I think,
Mhm.
I knew where it was. I went down there. Um, you do a little test to
Yeah.
see what you can do, and yeah, that was it. The rest is history.
Now, when you say a little test, is it a written test as far as your knowledge of things in general, or is it a physical exam?
No, you don't do your physics. So there's a couple of stages. It might be different now, but the first one is you take a test on a computer in the Army Careers Office, and that spits out a ton of roles that you could do.
Okay.
So I did really well at it. The top one, and again might change, but the top one was Royal Military Police. I didn't want to be in the Royal Military Police, and the next one down was avionics technician. So
Wow.
I decided I was going to join as an avionics technician, fixing
Okay.
aircraft. And then you go at that time to Glasgow for 2 days, and you do kind of all the physical teamwork, that kind of stuff, to be then selected to go on basic training. So that's how it works.
That is really similar to here in the United States. So, if somebody wants to join any branch of the military, they have to do a test. Now theirs is handwritten. They've got all the questions on paper. It's not on computer, at least not that I'm aware of. However, it could be in some recruiters' offices. I don't know. And we call it the ASVAB, ASVAB, and it tells the recruiters kind of where your strengths are. So it'll talk about, science and math and things of that nature. I mean, it just kind of goes through all of that. And I know back when I was in high school, I was a junior in high school, and I remember we all had to take it back then, and we were sitting in the lunchroom. Everybody had it, and we took it, and then the next thing you know, we're getting phone calls from different branches calling, wanting you. So,
Really?
yeah. So I don't know that they do the ASVAB in school anymore, but they might. I think maybe, I don't know. But I remember my youngest Marine veteran took it in the office, in the recruiter's office, and they told him it was just going to be a practice one, so he could take as long as he wanted, no time limit. And they gave him a couple of pieces of scratch paper, and yeah, he never used the scratch paper. He was done in 20 minutes, and he scored an 82 out of 100. So he was, and they like, oh, okay, we'll just take this. And he goes, wait, you told me it was just practice. I could take it again and get a better score. And they're like, no, you already are, you can already have pretty much anything you want. But
Yeah.
so yeah, that's really cool that they're very similar.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does sound similar. Yeah, I was only 16-year-old, right? Like, I was
16?
yeah, 16. Yeah.
Wow. And you didn't have to have did you have to have your parents' approval at
correct.
that age?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
16. Yeah, 16. I'd just left high school, joined the Army Foundation College, which is like for younger people, like an extended basic training, fundamentally a year long basic training.
Mm-hmm. That's
So,
amazing.
it's good.
Interesting, though. There are a lot of parallels there. So thank you for that, because for those who who will be watching this or who aren't already on, it's good for them to kind of hear that difference from a veteran in another country. So tell me what it was like for you when you first got to your destination for basic training, like the immediate thoughts going through your head.
Oh, it was. I just thought it was great. I thought
Really?
I don't really take things. I take things very seriously, but I feel like I'm a little bit stoic with a lot of this kind of stuff. Like it was what it was. It was exciting. We started with, I think, 54 in our platoon.
Mm-hmm.
When we started, you get shown around the camp, you get taken up into a 12-man room, and then they told us all, I think, to get our wash kits, and they're gonna take you to the showers and teach you how to wash yourself properly. Completely naked. Like, so you imagine
Yep.
16-year-old, 54 people completely naked, and you've got a 25 to 28-year-old who's showing you how to wash every bit of your body, and it was just a weird, crazy. It just felt like a crazy experience at the time, but I
So
enjoyed it.
did they sit there and like yell at you? I mean, like in your face, like here,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty brutal at times. When I think back at it now, I don't think they would be able to do this same things as they did this is 2005, so I don't think it would. And I'm sure 20 years before that, people would be like, hey, like, we want to be able to, but it was character building.
yeah.
I loved it. I just thought it sets you up as a human being, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I had a big, bold corporal, full screw, call him, who was our section commander, and he was brutal. Yeah, he was brutal. Yeah,
That is so funny. I know, like, when they like with the Marine Corps, and they would get there to boot camp, and they would be told to go to the phones that lined the wall, and and then there's lines of kids at each phone, and they would tell them to call home, and there's a pre-written thing that they have to say. Like they cannot veer off of what that says. Basically, I have made it to wherever their boot camp is in the United States. I am safe, and I will call you when I can. And that's pretty much about it. But the whole time, I mean, it's like 10 seconds, maybe. I don't even think it's 10 seconds. The whole time, the instructors are yelling at them at their ears, screaming at them, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And so, like, the parent can't even hear or understand what their child has even said. It's like, that is let's go. And there's, the Marine Corps is only 13 weeks of boot camp. So to have a full year of that, oy.
Yeah, it was 52 weeks. The first 12 weeks you're not allowed to leave camp. Mm-hmm. You used to get paid. You had to march into this platoon commander's office and say they give you like a line to say, and then they just give you an envelope with cash, and that's kind of how it worked. That's what we used to get for the first 12 weeks. You just got your envelope with cash. It might have been like £50 a week or something like that for 12 weeks. And then it kind of got a little bit better because you started to lose a lot of people, right? Yeah. So like, we ended with 17 out of the 54 at the end of the 52 weeks. So
it was crazy.
Yeah. So you lose a lot of people can't deal with it and, leave. So it gradually gets better when the people who probably aren't supposed to be there aren't there anymore. And you've got, everyone's performing reasonably well at that age. Right. So it's good. Yeah, I loved it. It's some of the best memories I've got is at that 52 weeks.
Wow. So fun. Do you have any funny stories from the time you were at basic training?
Oh, I've probably got some I can't share, but I've got some.
Okay.
The one that traumatized me at that age is after the first 12 weeks, you could go home at the weekend, not every weekend, but some weekends. And my dad, it was only an hour away from where I lived, my parents.
Oh, okay.
So my dad used to pick me up on a Friday when we were allowed home. And I used to go home for the weekend and go out with my friends because I had a lot of civilian friends at that time. And we were on parade in another platoon. Another platoon on the Thursday before I was going home. And it was a Royal Irish corporal who had us all on parade, and he came past me and saw my sideburns. When in the UK you're supposed to have sideburns to here, so distance from here, and it must have been a little bit low. And he made me go and run to my room and get a razor, and he shaved my sideburns to here. So I had nothing below here on both sides. So imagine you care about your appearance. You care about your appearance at 16, right? I was going home. I was like meeting girls. I was with my friends, and I had just no hair below here. He shaved the whole thing off, dry. So he's like in front of everybody. So that's probably one of those experiences. I can remember that because I was traumatized about having to be around my friends and going out with So
when you first got there, did they shave your heads?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we all had our heads shaved. I've got a really cool book. We I don't know if you get this in the US, but we get it's called Burma Company. So it ended 2006. So I wrote a lot of it in our platoon because I was going into engineering. So it gives you, so I've got all the pictures and all of the experiences, like the gas chamber and things like that.
Yeah.
Look, there's in the gas chamber being sick. And so they give you this because it's such a long basic. You can actually, you get this at the end of the basic to kind of congratulate you for achieving it. So I've got
nice.
a book of all the memories as well, which is great.
Yeah, they get, well, at least I can speak specifically for the Marine Corps. They can order basically their, it's similar to when you're in high school here in the United States, you get a yearbook and it's all of the students in the school at that time, plus photos of different things that are going on in the school during that school year. And the same, similar, the cover is not near as nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
I found it in a cupboard. Yeah, it is quite nice, but it's good that they do that because
yeah,
you forget a lot of these things as well.
you
So,
do. You do. I think that's amazing. So after 52 weeks, what or where did you go from there?
I joined the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers with as an avionics technician. So that was in the south of England, so not far away from where I did basic in the north of England. I'm not far from where I did basic. We call it phase two. So basic
Okay.
training is phase one, and then phase two is your, in my case, trade training. Or infanteers will go to, I think, Catterick, and Royal Engineers will go to Gibraltar Barracks, just close to here as well. So you go to the place where you're going to be learning, about like the next phase of like what you're going to be physically doing when you're
Yeah.
in the army. So I was there for 18 months, 2 years, I think, in
Oh,
phase
wow.
two.
Okay. That's a
Yeah.
long time.
Well, yeah. Well, I started as an avionics technician. I actually didn't end up being an avionics technician. I ended up being an aircraft technician, which is slightly different. So I did a little bit. I did like 4 months of one course and then stopped doing that course and started a whole new course. So,
Wow. Now
but yeah,
you had the option to just stop that?
yeah, you can choose to change trade if you want to change trade within the camp. So there were multiple different trades learning within this camp. People who fix the electronics on tanks and things like that. Then you've got the aviation side, so the mechanical engineers on aircraft, and then the electrical engineers on aircraft. And I did
Wow.
the electrical piece first, and then decided I wanted to do the mechanical piece, not the electrical piece. So that's what I did. I
Okay.
transferred.
And then when you complete your 18 months, where do you go at that point?
You get posted to a unit,
Okay.
a working unit. So my posting was Germany, which was awesome as well. I loved Germany. So I was in
Nice.
Germany for 2 years. It was fantastic.
Were you stationed in Germany with the Americans, or were you in a different whole other location?
No, I visited the Americans to go to your PX, but
Hmm.
I didn't. We weren't stationed with the Americans. We were in a place called Gütersloh, which was like not far away from Dortmund. So a British camp only.
Nice.
But Germany is a young lad, was a great place to be.
I bet
Yeah.
you could drink, I think, couldn't you then at an early
Drink
age?
for drink for the price of absolutely nothing. Bars above where we lived. Tax free everything. Yeah, it was great. It was good.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's nice. So, okay. And how long were you there for?
2 years.
2 years. What did you think of the cuisine?
Cuisine in Germany. So the cuisine on camp, or the German cuisine. Which one?
The German cuisine. Did you get to go and eat the German food?
We again, weekends we would go all over Germany. So we went to Oktoberfest. We were in Hamburg, Cologne, Dortmund,
Oh,
Berlin
nice.
a lot. Yeah, I traveled all over when I was there, predominantly drinking alcohol at that time. Um, but we used to eat the German food, and it was great. It was really it
And
was good.
how did the Germans feel about you being there in general, just overall?
Uh, uh, I don't think they disliked us. I've been back to where I was stationed for like a nostalgic trip
Oh,
with
wow.
some friends. Probably about 3 years ago. and the camp shut down, and the whole of the town is like a ghost town. It's really sad. Like
Oh,
there's no economy there at all now. Whereas actually the camps were kind of fueling that whole town,
yeah.
right? It's vibrant and lively, and there's lots going on. So I think they're probably really disappointed that we're not there yet. But I'm sure there are times when British Army guys and girls have too much to drink, they can be a little bit of a handful sometimes. So we might have been a little bit of a handful, I'm sure. But I'd say like net, they're probably disappointed that we're not there anymore. But they were friendly. Germans generally were really friendly
Nice.
with us and kind and welcoming.
And then after your stint in Germany, where did you go from there?
I did an op tour whilst I was in Germany, and then so I went to Afghanistan from Germany, and then
Oh,
I was posted to Northern Ireland, which was great as well. I've had really good postings throughout
nice.
my time.
So tell me a little bit about your time in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I think
What
I
year was
deployed
that?
nowhere near as long as the Americans. I deployed for 6 months, I think. We don't do any longer than 6 months. I was in Camp Bastion, again aviation, so we had way less aircraft than the Americans as well. We used to drive down to your airbase all the time to ask for spares and coffee and all sorts of stuff.
That surprises me. Usually, the US is like short on supplies like that.
Well, you get like when you go to the US airbase, it makes you feel insignificant. Like it just blew my mind when I went down there to see just how many aircraft you had there, how many people you had there. It was just absolutely mind blowing. But again, we got on with the Americans. We used to get in a Jeep, like 8 of us in a Jeep on a Sunday, and pretend that we were working on the army base, the US base, so we could go into your decaf and get your food, because on a Sunday you used to have lobster tails, T-bone steak, and you had a fridge or a freezer full of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. So every other Sunday when I was working, because we worked 24 hours on, 24 hours off, we'd all just jump in a Jeep and just like blag it into your DFAC and eat the best food.
That sounds like the Air Force. 100%. They have the best of everything.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. And the Marine Corps has the absolute least of everything.
Oh, really?
They get like all the hand-me-downs from all of the different branches.
It could not have been better food. So I'm sure it must have been the Air Force then. It must have been.
Yep. That sounds exactly like the Air Force. That's great though that you had a good experience. So speaking of that, have you ever had the opportunity to serve or meet any of the Marine Corps?
No, I haven't. I spent quite a lot of time in El Centro in Southern California and around the San Diego area, but we never worked directly with the U.S. Marine Corps. We didn't.
Yeah, because the base isn't far from San Diego. That's there, so yeah. But yeah, you would definitely know if you met them.
No, yeah, I don't think we did. I think El Centro is a naval base, if I remember rightly. I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is. There's a lot around. The United States has so much, and so yeah.
Yeah. The more I'm in the US, the more I'm realizing how many bases you have in the US. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So you go your deployment after that. You said you went to Ireland.
Yeah, went to Northern Ireland. Yeah, which is great as well. Yeah, I was there.
What did you do there?
Same, just generally you're just working on different aircraft. So when you move unit, generally sometimes that's not always the case. You're just moving airframe. It'd be a whole new set of people that you might have come across some of them before. You'll have friends of friends, and you just kind of integrate into that unit. So
yeah,
it was a different type of setting than Germany in Northern Ireland. But again, like just a brilliant posting. Ireland's an amazing place, just in general.
It's on our list to go.
Yeah, I mean, Southern Ireland and Northern Ireland are both brilliant places to visit. Like the people are again were really, aside from all the troubles in the past, um, generally really friendly people. And it's just it's a fun place. Ireland's really fun.
Nice.
It's got like loads of character. Ireland.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes, definitely that is on our list. And I know we've got some people in the chats that are one in particular he wants to go to Germany and Japan. That's
Oh,
his
really?
other one. So
I met
yeah.
an American veteran the other day who's is moving to Japan when he leaves service. I think he served there for a while, and he absolutely loved Japan. I've never been to
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah. I think a lot of the military, I know the Marine Corps had or has, I don't know if they've closed it yet, but a base in Japan. And they always enjoyed it as far as that goes. But I think, yeah, Marines can be rowdy.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of,
The UK Marines can also be rowdy. So
so
yeah.
then you understand exactly. Yes. So from Ireland, where did you go after that?
I went to the south of England to like a special forces support unit, so aircraft that specifically supported UKSF. I was there for three and a half years.
Okay.
Just it's probably, I'd say, professionally my favorite posting, because the group that I was with were just all brilliant people, and we did some cool things. So I was there until I signed off of the military. I left the military at that unit, just shy of
Okay.
11 years.
That's a long time. And what, if I can ask, what made you decide that you wanted to leave the military?
My brother had already got out, and again, my brother had no qualifications, and he was doing really well in tech. He's smart. My brother's a smart guy. He's a super intelligent guy. He just never applied himself when he was younger. And my sister was still serving. My sister got out after 24 years. She just
Wow.
left 2 years ago. So my brother was out in tech, and being an engineer was never my calling, ever. I made this decision when I was 16-year-old. I couldn't tie my shoelaces when I was 16-year-old. Like, you're making a long-term life career decision when you're 16. So it was never my calling. I wasn't about, a lot of people I work with, I'm sure will say that I was a hard worker. I've always believed in like graft. I come from, my father worked super hard, always did. So like, I worked hard and I did my job well, I think, and I worked well in a team. And I was a sergeant when I left, but it just wasn't my job. It just wasn't for me. I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't wake up in the morning and look forward to going and fixing aircraft. So my brother was earning a ton of money in tech at the time. He'd tell me, and I'd always had that in the back of my mind. And I was at a party, and a friend who was a PE teacher, college PE teacher, so she taught,
Physical education. Yeah.
Yeah. She transitioned into a company, and she was selling photocopiers and a bit of software.
Okay.
And she was like, "You'd be really good at this job." And she told me how much she was earning. I was at that point, I was like, well, I'm not earning a ton of money as a sergeant after 12 years. Like, everyone knew what I was earning. I want to go and earn some more and just build a bit more financial freedom. I think now's the time to either stay in for another 10 years in the military or leave. And she said, "Why don't you just come and meet my boss?" So I went to a pub in a place called Staines in the UK and met a boss in a pub, and he just said to me, "If you sign off of the military tomorrow, I'll promise you that I'll get you a job where we are." So I went in the next day and I signed off of the military and hoped that he would actually give me a contract.
Boy, yeah, that's pretty brave.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I didn't get a contract for 8 months later, so I was worrying towards the end. But I did. He did kind of he did go with his word, and it wasn't what I wanted to do specifically, like sell that sort of stuff. But I
Right.
wanted to go and sell. I wanted to be in the commercial side of selling software. That was my thing. My brother was doing it. It sounded amazing. It fit my personality. Quite an extrovert. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy understanding like
That's
problems and
wonderful.
trying to figure. And so I was like, well, I'll go and do this and be really good at this, and then prove that I can do this kind of stuff, and then I'll go and get another job doing the thing I want to do. That was kind of my mindset, and I had to take a big pay cut as well to do it. Like initially,
You're right.
so that was the thought process. 27, 28, 27. I decided that that's what I was going to do.
And how long did you stay there?
18 months, and then I got a job doing what I wanted to do.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I did. I got a job at a Canadian software company 18 months later, and that was kind of like where, yeah, that was. But it was amazing, that first experience. I'm not knocking. You know, I was selling. Imagine what my friends said to me when I said, "Hey, I'm like quitting the army. I'm going to go sell photocopiers in London." Like, they were like, "What are you talking about?" So I got a lot of stick. I got a lot of stick from my friends. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, but it paid off because it managed to. It was like kind of that stepping stone to get into where I wanted to be in my civilian career. So it was a good move. I'm glad I did it.
That's awesome. So, okay, so when you go to your superiors and say, I want out, how long does it take them to transition you out?
You have 12 months. So there's something called the 7 clicks, which there's like an internal HR system called JPA, and to sign off of the military, it's 7 different clicks to get to say you're confirmed you've signed off. So 7 clicks. So I got my best friend to do my 7 clicks for me. He was the first person I hired for my business. No.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So he signed me off. And then at the point of sign off, you've got 12 months. You've got to serve.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did they at the end of that 12 months, I mean, or any time between that 12-month period and the end of that 12-month period, did they provide you with any kind of resources for how to transition back into civilian life?
Yes, very similar system to the US with TAP.
Yeah.
But it's not compulsory. And it's called CTP, Career Transition Partnership.
Okay.
So it's a government program. It's like a 2-day workshop. You get the basics of like, yeah.
And that is really the basics if it's only 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days, and you've got a booklet and things, and then you know you're out there trying to figure out what to do next. So relatively similar to, I'd say, TAP.
Yeah. So, where are you at in your life today, as of today? What have you been doing?
Well, like when I moved into the software world, I went to like a mid-market global software company called Descartes. So they were based out of Waterloo in Canada. I think they're doing like $500 million a year. And that gave me a lot of experience. And then they acquired a startup called PeopleVox for like $25 million. And I was going to leave this company because it's kind of slow, more of an older school software company. And I wanted to move somewhere a little bit faster where I could challenge myself. And they gave me the option to go and work with a founding team of the company that they just acquired. So they were only a small team. You know, I got to work with the founder, the head of growth, and that changed my whole perspective on everything. I was like, oh my God, this is so much different than being in an enterprise or a bigger company. And then from there, so maybe that's 3.5 years of being out. From there, I promoted twice, and then the founding team left because they'd been in the company long enough, and the head of growth went to work for a startup in London, and I came in as the head of sales for that software company in London. And so that's about 4 years after being out. and I just loved startups. It was the best. It's just great. It's just like small team, moving fast, not really knowing what to do, trying to figure it out quickly as you slowly running out of money, loads of pressure, but like lots of fun. So I just got the bug, and I'd managed to save up quite a lot of money from being relatively good at my job when I left.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with the founders who were great people, but I was like, I could do this. Like I could 100% start my own business. Like I could do this. So in parallel to that, I'd been meeting a lot of my friends and trying to tell them about software sales, saying like, hey, they were underemployed fundamentally. In my opinion, they were as capable, if not more capable than I am. And they were sat there on a third of what I was earning. I was enjoying my work and they could easily go and do what I was doing. And I was like trying to guide them into these industries that the military wasn't telling you about. You were getting out and you were automatically shown project manager courses or automatically shown some cyber core. There's what veterans are supposed to do. And I was like, there's a whole world out there if you just open your eyes and people show you. So I was doing that. And so it's kind of like in parallel helping people. And I was like, well, I want to do something more purposeful. And why are all these amazing people not fulfilling the potential or doing the things they want to do or enjoying their work? So I decided to quit my job when I was on paternity leave with my first child, my first son.
That's a heck of a time to do it. Okay.
There's never a good time. We can make
There isn't
make excuses for everything in life, I think, and there's never a good time.
Yeah.
So I decided to just bite the bullet and do it and commit. So that's what I did. I gave my notice, worked for another 2.5 months, and then started and went out on my own. And so that's what I've been doing since. I've been doing that for 3.5 years now.
Wow. And how's it going for you?
It's amazing. It's great. It's super stressful. But I like that. We're trying to figure out some really tough challenges. We're building technology, we use AI. I've got an incredible team to start to help veterans realize their potential, understand the skills they're leaving with, personalize that whole transition process for veterans transitioning out of the military. But we also support, 50% of the people support veterans who are already out in civilian careers. They're just not enjoying what they're doing. So we build a ton of technology to support them. And also to support employers, because employers find it really challenging to understand skills that are leaving the military, and a resume, in our opinion, does not do a veteran justice. So we build technology to map all of that and connect people to the right types of careers. So for me, I'm doing like massively fulfilling work, both in the UK, and we've been in the US for 12 months now. And again, big challenge, real eye-opening. Amazing as well. I've been out quite a lot this year. It's been great. I've been in San Francisco, in Dallas, in Nashville. And I've got a lot.
You've been in Nashville?
Yeah.
Next time you come, you're gonna have to look. Yeah. Well, just outside of. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was in Nashville in August, September.
That's interesting. Yeah, we're about an hour and a half, maybe hour 45 minutes from Nashville.
Oh, no, I like Nashville. Nashville is different than Dallas. And San Francisco.
Yes, it is. It is. The traffic is getting worse and worse, but it's what happens because Nashville had this sudden boom in people wanting to move there, and but it's great for their economy. So, but so you have this business now. Tell me about, is that Redeployable? Is that the name of the business, or is that strictly a nonprofit?
No, it's for profit, funded, investor backed.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I want to build an incredible team of people who have built incredible platforms and have been part of incredible journeys in the past. So I've been doing that now for the last 18 months, is bringing in some really impressive people who are trying to solve this challenge, because I think it is such a big challenge, people transitioning out. And I think it's such a miss for organizations who aren't understanding where these people fit into the world. So no, for profit, we've raised quite a bit of money so far. Again, we're going into another round next year. So yeah.
So this is your web page.
Yep. That's it.
And let's see. Of course, I scrolled back down. So, I mean, this is great because it tells you, you know, things that you could potentially do, you know, dependent upon what your MOS was. So, I think this is amazing. And so you're setting something up like this in the US for different companies, or?
Oh, it's already set up. We get a ton of US. So the whole start of this is everybody builds for the companies. We built for the veterans. So the first stage with all of this is a veteran comes in and tells us about their career, and we can then identify all of the big buckets of skills: hard skills, soft skills, technical skills, operational skills, soft skills, the equipment they might have worked on, and give them a foundation of skills that they've already got. Then what we do is we will provide career recommendations to those individuals, but not you're an aircraft engineer, therefore we think you'd be good at this. We'll tell them in a super personalized way why we think them as an individual, based on everything we've learned, would be great in this type of career. We can tell them where it's going. Is it a growth career? Is AI going to eat this type of work in the future? What could you potentially earn over time? So we're giving so much data to the individual to help them make better decisions. And then the next phase of it is I go and tell you we think you'd be a really good field service engineer. We build job simulations with companies to help a veteran try out the career. So from there, they can actually play around with a job and understand whether we think they're a good fit. We use AI to validate their skills, to help them understand at a task level whether they're any good for that type of work at the moment, or what they would need to go and do to become better. So we're like providing that whole skill gap analysis and helping them make that transition. And then using all the data we ask the veterans if they want to connect and meet some of the employers that are hiring in those different areas. And they can then share their information with those employers, and those employers can see and track their progress over time, rather than it being an online job application where they don't hear back from 98% of the applications. We're kind of bringing them much closer to the employers who are looking for that type of talent.
So is this something that the veterans would pay you for, or is it paid for by the companies?
No, never will we ever charge a veteran for what we do. No,
Wonderful.
The companies are having to make decisions on. Here we go. This is the company side, right? So we can help the companies. We fundamentally sell the veterans' capabilities to the companies.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they get a ton of analytics on an individual based on their journey. But again, we never allow those companies to go and tap in and start to look at people's information unless the veteran opts in and subscribes to an employer's pathway. So we want it to be driven by intent on the veteran side to say, I'm interested in this type of work. And at that point, there's a transaction, right? We then show that information to the employer, and the employer can reach out, contact, interview, hire these folk based on their skills and the skills that they've demonstrated. So that's we make our money on the employer side based on the data. It's not recruitment in a traditional sense, like you give us a role and we'll find you a person and place you and you give us 20% of their salary. It's more around the data that we provide on individuals.
And in the US, can you speak to the companies that are part of this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm not going to say the name of them, but we just started to work with probably one of the biggest veteran employers in the US around what we're doing here. So we already have quite a bit of exposure in the US with some big organizations, big enterprise organizations. So yeah, exactly that. And even if you don't connect with employers, we use AI to help you to understand what courses you should go and do based on whether you have the GI Bill and how you like to learn. And
Mhm.
we also use AI to help you to create your LinkedIn headline and your LinkedIn summary and your skills, or
Okay.
teach you how to network, or teach you how to search for jobs if it's outside of our platform. So there's so much value from a veteran perspective. Even without connecting to the employers, we've spent a significant amount of time building tools to help them make the best move.
This is amazing. I mean, just going through this, it's like, wow. And I love how you have, I mean, it's very straightforward, right? It's not on a necessary numeric rating scale. It says right there, natural talent, strong alignment, those kinds of things that, especially even up in here, good match, high, medium, what have you. So, somebody looking at this can see, right away, as opposed to like a number system. It doesn't look like you're not being transparent in where they fall, hiding it
No, and
behind a number.
we're quite honest. I wouldn't say brutally honest, but honest with the veteran as well. I want them all to be successful, right? So if I'm leading you down a garden path, which is the wrong one, I'm not doing the right thing for you. So we'll be honest with the veteran whether we think they're a good fit right now based on what we know about them and whether they perform well in a simulation. But we're also quite clear with the employer, right? The employer, we generally work with organizations who have, critical skills gaps. So people like Schneider Electric and who are in like building automation, electricity, digital realty and data centers. Next in the UK in retail and distribution centers. So like companies like that, they want to understand veterans. They want to hire more veterans, but a resume is really difficult to understand for the recruiters who are trying to filter out the many applications they're getting because of AI, and hiring managers who just don't understand military skills. So we cut all of that bullshit out of this resume, trying to figure out where people fit, and just present like easy to understand, easy to digest data based on how these people perform in certain scenarios in our platform and what they've done in the military and how, what skills relate to those specific experiences.
Yeah, I love this. It's just right there and it's broken out. It's very specific. Um,
and we never, like, you see those figures there, right?
mhm.
We're not selling ever to organizations saying, oh, you should give these people a chance. They've served the country. That's not, I don't speak like that. My argument here is you've got a massive skill shortage in your organization. You've got a ton of people over here who have been continuously learning throughout their careers. They've been on
Right.
courses, they've moved units, they know how to learn this. They've not just been stagnant for 10 years in the military or 4 or 5. So you've got people who can land and get up to speed to full productivity, which is the money maker for these organizations, quickly. And they're also, if we help them to understand where their skills align and get them into the right career and help them educate them on those careers and the companies and the jobs, then they'll stay in your organization for longer. And I think that retention metric there, retention is the most important thing of all of this, in my opinion. I think the data in the US is shocking in terms of that first job tenure for a veteran. I think it averages something like 8.5 months in the US. But then if you think about the knock-on effect to that, a company who has very little experience hiring veterans hires a veteran. That veteran churns out of the job after 8.5, 9 months because it's not the right fit. And they've just invested 8.5, 9 months to train that person. But they're not educated and they think all veterans are the same. Me and my sister and brother are all the same. We had different careers, different ranks, optors, exercise. We've had wildly different professions. We just had the core ethos of the military involved. So that employer says, oh, we probably should never hire a veteran again. And then you lose opportunities, and it's kind of this nasty cycle. So to me, we need to personalize that whole career transition experience to help people understand fully what's going on in the market, where that career is going, why them as an individual is a good fit, to improve the retention metric. And that,
I think this is amazing because I agree. There are a lot of, and that for veterans in the United States, now obviously I can't speak for the UK. In the United States, a lot of times, even though they have they have TAP, the transition assistance, um, unless they actually have something already lined up by the time they EAS out, um, then they'll sit most often at home and just kind of after a couple weeks, couple months, what have you, they spiral because they don't know what to do. They don't have somebody telling them what to do every day, how to do it, where to be, etc. And especially those who have been in the military for a very long time and who aren't necessarily in higher ranks. So, your privates and private first class corporals, lance corporals, etc. Those are all, ones that are difficult, sergeants in a lot of cases too. And they'll just spiral mentally. And especially too, those who have seen any kind of combat, have maybe lost friends, during their time in service. So it's really difficult, I know, for those here in the US. Again, if they don't already have something already set up, that they get in their heads. They have too much time to think until. So for me, this is my thought process. Again, not claiming I am not a veteran, but I do have two Marine veterans. So, in looking at this and knowing what my sons have gone through when they transition to civilian life. I think this is amazing. It gives them an opportunity. It's free of charge to them. And it's not saying that even, I'm assuming that they have to go with anything that you provide them. They can still opt and say, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to go into this job or that job or whatever, but they still see the results of everything that you're providing them, telling them, what would benefit them the most, as far as, a job that's better suited to not just what their knowledge is, but their personality too, from what I'm seeing.
yeah,
And I think that it gives them something that they physically can see. They're not having to sit there and put application after application after application out, being rejected constantly. You guys are doing all the footwork for that. So I think this is amazing what you're doing, for not just the veterans in your country, but the veterans in ours. So I, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very, very much for this. Um, and thank you to the companies that have jumped on the bandwagon to help with this and get this moving. I think
yeah.
this is amazing. Just looking at this, and
We,
I'm going to.
we're going to get this into the hands of every single veteran in the US. That's the plan.
Well,
You know,
I intend to share this more on my channel. This at least share the website with the veterans and the guests that I have. So now some of them obviously are older veterans, so or several are disabled veterans. So it's but at least to give that give your company a shout out, because I think that this is, to me, that's one of the biggest problems for our veterans, is that if they don't already have something lined up prior to transitioning, most of them will spiral. They'll start drinking, getting into trouble, getting into fights. Several go into jail, just because they don't have a path anymore.
yeah.
And if
And
you
that's
could get
why,
this in front of our military commanders and such, I think it would be amazing. Maybe go with this instead of TAPS. Right?
and do you know what? That's not my aim. Is not to take away from the work TAP is doing. That we work with two very large veteran service organizations in the US.
Mhm.
One not as large, really impactful, called the Honor Foundation, who are an amazing company, and the other is probably the biggest um, employment VSO in the US. I can't, and we've been working with them for 12 months. I can't announce them until
That's
probably a
fair.
month's
That's
time.
okay.
But we're supplementing the work they're doing. Right, they have career transition specialists. They have in-person workshops. They have mental. Our
Wow.
technology is just supporting and improving the process for the veteran. That's all it is. So it's the same with the TAP officers. I'm not trying to sell our tool to TAP. It's not my.
No, 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 no. And
No,
even
but
just
what?
though to have this
Sorry,
out there.
I mean, as in, like, I'm not trying to sell it to TAP, but I'm also not trying to get rid of TAP. We want to work with TAP to give
Right.
people a better tool, right? To
And you
improve.
could have that align with them, you know, as you're growing, you can have, you know, get notified in wherever state in the United States where, something is scheduled, because it's not generally just one branch in those classes. It could be all of the branches who are transitioning at one time that
Yeah,
go through it. So, but to have a calendar that matches the calendar for TAP when they're coming out to do, whoever's instructing TAP. So, to have somebody there potentially, obviously, this is just my mind going,
yeah,
I know. So,
yeah.
but I think this is amazing what you're doing. And I hope to have you back at a later date and see where you're at, because to me, I think this is very powerful. And I think this has the makings of something that in, several years for our veterans, I can say this is probably, especially those that are now looking at possibly transitioning out. Um, I think this is going to be a key thing for them because a lot of times they don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's, I think this would be great for that. So I
Yeah,
commend you on that.
I truly believe that as well. I Next year is the year of the US for us. We've put the groundwork in this year, and we're going really hard in the US next year to make a big impact.
I wish you all the best in this,
Thank you.
and I hope that you succeed in everything because this is what our veterans need. They need somebody who's willing to stand up for them, help guide them. And yes, we have some great VSOs here, and we have some great resources. Some are for profit for our veterans, others are not for profit, and they're great. But to help at the moment they're transitioning, to be there and available to them and help guide them to something that is going to be meaningful employment for them, I think is key.
Yeah,
I think
I
I
agree.
really do.
I agree. And if you think about it, that we can gather so much information just through the interactions with the veterans, that we can provide that information to TAP or to the VSO to say, here are the skills that these people have
Right.
transitioning. Here are the 3 top careers that they're interested in. Here are the courses that they should go and think about doing if they want to close the skill gap. Imagine that first conversation they can have with all of that information, rather than going, "Hey, tell me what you did in the military." You
Oh,
know,
as a mortarman.
yeah. You know what I mean? That's literally what happens. It happens in
I
the
know,
UK.
yeah. I've
It's like,
heard that a lot from the veteran guests that I've had. It's very difficult to translate what it was they have done in the military into something meaningful for an employer.
yeah,
And you're doing that for them. So thank you.
yeah,
Um, so one question that I'd like to ask or get your thoughts on before we wrap things up. For any veteran being here in the US and or the UK, what words of wisdom would you have for them just thinking about joining
Yeah, thinking about joining.
the
Sorry,
military?
joining the military.
Yes.
I always think about this with respect to my sons. I've got a 4-year-old just turned 4, and a younger boy called Alfie, who's just about to turn 1.
Oh,
And like,
wow.
would I want them to join the military? And like, I would never like actively encourage them to do it. Like, I'd want them to do what they want to do. But if they turn around to me and told me that they want to join the military, I would absolutely encourage them to join the military, or at least like say 100% you should go and do that.
Support
Because
them. Yeah.
yeah, there's nothing like getting that grounding at a young age. 16-year-old is a great time for me. It was a great time for me to do that. It was great because you just get like, I met 2 of my bosses, old bosses, the other day. One week, one the other, who were asking me to help them find a new career. Like, can I connect them to my network? And these people helped me so much when I was young.
Yeah.
Because you meet these older people who are like great leaders who kind of change how you look at the world. So to anyone thinking about joining the military, I think it's probably one of the best experiences you can have, and it'll give you a really good grounding to go and do. You don't need to be in the military forever, right? It'll give you really good,
Mhm.
solid skills to go and do whatever you want to do when you get out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that also is one of the things that people who are thinking about joining the military, they generally, if they're on the fence and they don't want to be an infantry, that they wonder maybe how would that translate again into something in an employer's looking for, like somebody who is a mortarman or something of that nature. And that might be the tipping point as to whether or not that they would join, because they don't have that path right now for how to translate exactly what they need to for employment.
I know plenty of infantrymen and non-technical trades people who have gone to do the most amazing things out of the military.
Mhm.
So the secret to all of this, in my opinion, is like being really prepared and being educated on what you want to go and do next. And
Right.
like, if I was to give my one word of wisdom to anybody about getting a job after the military, there are veterans everywhere, like in all companies, everywhere. And we have got, people, I say it's the most challenging career transition out there, but we have got an unfair advantage because you're in this private members club where you can go and reach out to people, and 90% of them will give you some of their time to help you understand about their company, about a certain type of role, potentially introduce you into that organization and kind of skip that CV sift as well. So like, you got to be prepared. You really understand yourself and what you want to do, and you've actually got a good opportunity to do whatever you want to do when you get out, in my opinion.
I think that's great. That's great. If everybody who's out there watching, any of you have questions for Ben, go ahead and get those put in the chats for me. So you're looking at bringing this to the US next year, you said? Or
No,
I guess we're all
we did this year. We did this year.
okay. So it's been introduced and you're going to spend a lot of time on it the coming year.
Yeah, next year is a big year in the US for us, yeah.
Okay. How is, obviously it's growing, but if you had to guess how many veterans you've helped to this point through Redeployable, what would be your guess?
Oh, blimey. That thousands. Depends on like, it constitutes helped as well. People using the tool to
Mhm.
figure different stuff out. Thousands.
Oh, that's
Five,
amazing.
10,000. I don't know. I don't know the exact number. I mean, we've been around for 3 years, and even
That's
personally,
amazing.
I've had the most outrageous amount of conversations since. But we get hundreds and hundreds of signups every month, hundreds and hundreds sometimes. So it's not enough still. There are 200,000 people leaving service every year in the UK and US. Like, how do we get to those people?
Yeah.
Is always my mindset.
And every one of them has some different kind of skill set. So yeah, what they have seen, what they have done, and the knowledge they learned along the way, because different leaders provide different training. So
yeah.
I'm not seeing any questions at this point, but I do want to say, Ben, thank you so very much for joining me and taking the time. I know for my viewers, we did it a little early, obviously, to make sure that we could work with your schedule, because we do have quite a bit of difference in time. So if you want to hang tight for me for a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and get this wrapped up. And then and go ahead and say goodbye to everybody and for next week. So if you want to hang tight for me. So for everybody else, again, thank you guys for joining me today and joining our conversation with Ben Reed with Redeployable. You can go out to his website and check it out for yourself. From everything that I saw, it's absolutely amazing. I have a show next Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Time, and that is with Travis Landchild. He's an Army veteran. So please be sure to come join me next Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Time. And y'all have a wonderful rest of your week coming up.